Hi, this is Dr. Mata from Covina Chiropractic, and I'm here with my good friend Jay Campbell. He is the authority, the social media influence that is known throughout the world for testosterone replacement. Jay, welcome, brother.
Man, it's awesome to be here, dude.
You know, everybody knows about you. We're switching the tables around on your podcast. I'm kind of taking the lead. I'm actually interviewing you. We're going to have a good time.
Yes.
So I know that you've had a lot of professionals on your podcast talking about TRT, but I know, but I want everybody else to know where the core of your interest came. Where did it all stem from? Why did you get involved in this? I know you have books. I know you're a speaker. You're a lecturer. You're just the man. How did it all start?
Literally, first off, man, let me shake your hand. It's an honor to be here today doing this podcast with you. You know, Dr. Mehta is the most amazing guy in the world, guys. Like, he works on me, my wife, my kids. Like, this is like the chiropractor to the stars for people on my show who don't know who he is, and now he's obviously my chiropractor. But it all started for me when I got kicked in the testicles playing basketball when I was 29 years old. I was very, very lucky and very fortunate that I went to a PPO doctor, and he said, hey man, I want to refer you to an endocrinologist. The endocrinologist was a Harvard-educated guy, Dr. Raymond Scruggs, and he ran some tests on me. He saw that I had testosterone levels of literally geriatric. I was like in the low 200s, and he said, hey, if it's okay with you, you know, I do this very regularly with my patients. I can put you on a low dose of therapeutic testosterone, and it'll get you restarted. And if if everything feels better, I can either take you off or take you on. So anyway, I went home. I asked my wife at the time, my ex-wife Kelly, way back then, and I was like, "Are you okay with this? Are you worried?" She's like, "No, I trust you. You're a smart guy. If you think it's the right thing to do, do it." So anyway, long story short, fast forward, 6 weeks later, I felt absolutely amazing. He was then like, well, I can take you off. I can put you on a restoration protocol with another medication. I was like, no way, dog. I want to keep feeling the way I felt, right? Because I was literally like 4 or 5 weeks away from turning 30. So by the time I started feeling good, I was now 30. But then I was becoming like a science nerd of it, and I was just like, I have to learn more about this. How do I study this? How do I find out more about this? So I never came off. The rest is history. Fast forward 10, 12 years, I started meeting a lot of people like you, and they would be like, wow, how do you stay in such great shape? And I was always very open and honest and transparent and said, hey man, I use therapeutic testosterone. A lot of times people would look at me like, well, what is that? Is it steroids or whatever, all that nonsense that comes up. But I was like, no, this is what I do. So then the smartest friends in my circle were like, dude, you gotta write a book.
Mm-hmm.
You know so much about this.
Mm-hmm.
You've done so much research. So at first I was very reluctant because I reached out to a big prominent attorney, Rick Collins, who's now a very close personal friend. I said, hey, as a non-medical licensed professional, if I write a book on this, can any, kind of pushback come to me? He said, well, you know what? And by the way, he read my white paper, the original draft, and he was like, Jay, your book is sensational. But yes, something could happen. So, I couldn't technically represent you. I could keep you from being in trouble, but you could still get, things could happen. So I was like, I shelved it. But thankfully, I sent the book to Nelson Bergel. And Nelson Bergel was a big advocate because he had written a book on testosterone. He was actually the first guy to write a book on testosterone, and was also the guy that I read all my information from back when I was like 29, 30 when I started reading about this, because he also wrote a book called Built to Survive, which was his cataloging his struggle with AIDS. And back then, nobody knew anything about this stuff. So he was like one of the pioneers. So anyway, I had written the book to him. He didn't respond to me for like 3 months because he was in Venezuela dealing with some personal issues. And he finally saw it, and he just sent me an email out of the blue. He's like, who are you? I want to talk to you. So we spoke on the phone. He was like, your book is amazing. He's like, well, look, I'm not going to publish it now. I was like, what are you talking about? You have to publish this. This is critical. Men in the world need this book. So
absolutely,
I did, and it took another year because he helped me, he mentored me, he kind of advised me. And then I was also partnered for a short, brief time with Mike Cernovich, who's now gone on to become famous and big in all his own realm with the deal, but then he decided to pull out the last second. So the book was published in 2015 in November. Fast forward to today, and already so many amazing things have happened to me. So obviously the book, catapulted itself. It's now the #1 selling book. And it allowed me to get even deeper into it, which then I wrote the Bible book, which came out in February of last year. And then now that has kind of like what you said, positioned me or catapulted me to where I stand now.
Yeah, and so it's been a long journey.
A very long journey.
I know your books are really detailed and really informative, but here's the the bottom line to this all, and I'm talking as just a regular guy in his early 50s. This is what happens. Just everything he just said, I'm going to simplify. Everything that's in all his podcasts, I'm going to simplify for Jay. As we get older, in our 30s, our 40s, especially our 50s, you know, I hate this. This is true, but men go through a menopause.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do. You know,
menopause.
It is, and for women, it's, you know, they get the hot flashes. It's their hormone levels go down. It becomes a big deal. But this is how I see it. Women care about that, so we always hear about it. Happens to men too, but most men don't care about it. Right. What I mean by that is, certain age, we start losing our muscle fat. Right. And we don't care, because we're men. Yep. Men don't care. Yep. We start getting a little bit of a belly. Yep. And guess what? We just kind of sit, guys don't really care. Oh well, right? Yep. We start losing our interest, our drive, our stamina, and we just go with the flow. It's just part of life. Yep. You know, and that is the menopause, I believe. Totally. But you know what? There are some men that say, no, I don't want to go through that. I still want to be this young, healthy, vibrant guy that I was in my 20s and 30s and so forth. And that's what happened to me. You know, I've always been active in my 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s. I've always led my life. I've surfed, I've mountain biked, every sport, everything you can imagine in my life, I just did to the ultimate max. So my life was always in the red line. I was always doing everything. I was working out. I was just on fire all the time. So I always operated on the red. My needle was on the red. Like if there's a speedometer, I was always on the red. And all of a sudden, I start getting into my late 40s and my 50s, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm starting to slow down. I don't like this guy. This guy is weird. This guy's slow. This guy's drive is going down. This guy has a little bit of a tummy. And like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't like this guy. I want the other guy back. So I realized that to get that guy back, we have to get the guy hormone back in me at certain levels, and it's got to be done properly by medical supervision and by professionals like Jay, who knows what they're doing, to get your levels back up to where they need to be. Now remember, testosterone isn't a drug. It's a hormone. It's a hormone that we create. I know that I want back in my life so I can be this guy. You know, I can be this healthy, happy guy. Because nowadays, it's not about just aging, but it's about aging and being happy and healthy in life, right? I mean, look at Sylvester Stallone. He's 72 years old.
Looks
and
amazing.
He's jacked, right?
Looks amazing.
That's what I want. But, you know, he exercises, he eats right, but he's also on replacement hormone therapy because you can't just get that, you know, with a certain age. It's not happening naturally. It just doesn't happen anymore. So my point is that if you're a certain age and you're feeling these things, all you got to do is get with the right people like Jay, get informed, and get on some type of testosterone replacement therapy, and you'll feel like $1 million. I mean, look at this guy. This guy's 70. No, he's 74. He's 74.
Almost. I'm on the way.
He's 48. I'm 51, and you know, we work out in gyms.
Absolutely.
And you see guys that are half our age.
They're dead.
Exactly. So it's like, if they're dead, then what are they going to be by the time they get to our age? So I thank you for everything you brought as far as education, and we just need more of you, and we need your word, because you are the you know, like you said, you wrote the Bible on this stuff. Literally. So we really thank you. And anyways, and he's also my patient, of course. I adjust him because you know he's got to work out.
Every week. Sometimes twice.
So by the way, if you Google Jay Campbell, right, he'll come up. He's the first thing. But guess what comes up when you Google Jay Campbell? I start typing in Jay Campbell in the Google search, and the first thing that pops up is Jay Campbell's wife, right? And she looks like this right here, right? So I know you're a superstar on social media and on the internet, but you know, this is one of the biggest celebrities that I've ever adjusted is Jay and his superstar wife.
Well, first off, I truly appreciate that. Everything you just said is very humbling. It's an honor to work with you. You know, our story, as you know, and I'll just share it with you real quick, is I was literally sitting on my bike, I think in the end of December, early January, and I got a message from you on Facebook. And I mean, look at this guy's face. He's 51, he looks like he's 25. And I thought it was a personal trainer because it was like a very awesome, very inviting message. And I was like, I wrote it back and I was like, hey man, that's so awesome. Are you a trainer? And he wrote back and he's like, dude, I'm like the most established chiropractor in all of Covina, and blah, blah, blah. I'm reading it, my eyes are lighting up because I'm sitting there in agony, my back. And as you know, I was been seeing a chiropractor, the joint, which is, to not put them down, average, right? And they were not able to adjust me in the way that I needed to. So when you said that you were a chiropractor, I was like, oh my God. I was like, where are you? And he's like, dude, I'm the biggest guy in Covina. I'm like, no way. I'm like, are you open today? And by the way, I remember it was a Thursday. It was like today.
Yes.
And he was like, well, I'm not open, but I can definitely see you because today's my day off. I'm like, oh my God. So I was so excited. And then, of course, I drove in and I spent, 30 minutes with you. We broke bread. You showed me your practice. You showed me your expertise. You showed me how you work, and it's like I knew instantly that I was in the presence of a true healer, which is what you are, beyond chiropractic. And now flash forward 5.5 months, and we have an amazing relationship.
Absolutely.
Your daughter works on a real estate team. You and me and my wife and your wife and your lovely wife Adriana are really awesome friends. We go to dinner together. I mean, it's just. God works in amazing and strange ways, and there's no question that He put you and me
absolutely
together. Because as I've told you before, I believe we were probably brothers in the past life because we're so connected. But to switch this now to you.
But isn't that crazy how you're getting messages literally from all over the country? You're getting emails from all over the country, text messages, like I am too, and from all over the world and all over the country. And the last thing we think of is that when we're communicating with people, is that we're in the same neighborhood.
Literally
and then we communicate with each other, and then I send you a message and you send me a message. You think I'm contacting you from
just
who
guy,
knows
right.
where in the country, and I happen to say, hey brother, I'm literally down the street from you. I mean, is that destiny or what?
Amazing.
And that's what kind of connected us to it. But I mean,
I just want to say this too about this guy. So I've been seeing a chiropractor. He's gonna adjust me, and we're gonna spend more time talking about the wonders of chiropractic. But I've been seeing a chiropractor for 24 years, as you know, actually longer, 24 and a half. And I've worked with one amazing chiropractor, a bunch of guys who were good but not great, and now I'm working with a great, amazing chiropractor. And again, like I said, guys, like I'm very serious about my health. You guys know that. I would not put my health in the hands of anybody that I didn't have like the most amazing trust in. And Dr. Mata is just, he's just unbelievable. I mean, I really don't know what to tell you. It's like you'll see on this podcast when he adjusts me and works on me, what he does and how much he knows about the central nervous system, just the spine, everything else that comes with chiropractic. But he's just an advanced level guy. Obviously I'm saying this, if you live in Southern California and you have any kind of pain, you have any kind of issues, soft tissue degradation, you're a former or an ex-athlete, this is the guy to see. And he's in my neighborhood. He's in Covina, California.
Thanks, brother. Thanks.
Of course, man.
So you want to get adjusted, brother?
Absolutely.
All right. So we're gonna adjust my brother Jay here, and we'll see you later.
He's the best. Covina Chiropractic.